Chaos is 3 by Gary D. Morton. Every morning, waking up together, the chaos is unerring and infinite. Their love is brutal and violent, and it is scorched into the surface of them, unwavering and intense. Late one night, with her laughter like music, she carved her name into his chest with a blade. He wore it with pride, a badge of honour, and he couldn't understand it when the seeping incisions made all the little children cry when he drunkenly staggered shirtless at the motel swimming pool. Together they are unity, waging a vengeful war. She is his weapon that he conceals from the world. She is the only one that can conceive of the mayhem that consumes him. He could tell her all of his secrets, gradually revealing all of his scars, and he found solace in the confession of his sins. She grasps the flaws within and makes him a better version of himself. She understood what it was to be truly alone, but together they would no longer bleed in silence. All of those times when he was at his most broken, she could rebuild him and soothe his countless wounds. She was always so creative when they disposed of the bodies. She would stitch their mouths closed and braid their hair. She would buy little plastic hairbands from roadside garages, and she would place petals under their eyelids as she sang them to sleep. She would buy rainbow-coloured streamers and tiny coloured windmills. She would devote hours to cleansing their skin. She was so attentive. She would touch them and caress them like a mother holding her newborn child. She would take her time decorating them, dressing them up, and closing them in industrial plastic for their graceless journey to the landfill site. When we were playing with our old professor, she wanted to spend some extra time over it. She seemed to savour his agony as he sat there, twisting and screeching, soaked in the leakage from his catheter bag. She told me that she wanted to make recompense for all those afternoons spent hidden away in his tool shed, playing his special secret games. Her lust for retribution was insurmountable. He ached to get her back to the hotel room with a knotted nylon rope. She kept the skin from his calloused, liver-spotted hands, stripping it away like upholstery fabric. She stitched it into the lining of a pair of black PVC gloves, and she would carry them around with her. All those visits to the care home, all those bleached sponge baths and his milky eyes didn't register her presence. Not even a glimmer of recognition. All those force-fed milk chocolate truffles dipped in caustic soda. So saccharine sweet, so deadly. It was around this time that they started getting careless. They stopped scrupulously cleaning everything down. It was like they wanted to leave them something to find. In those days they were invincible. Nothing could ever bring them down. They were rampant, uncontrollable, and unforgiving. He knew that they would eventually catch up with him, but that was a far-off, ephemeral time in the distant future. As long as they were together, nothing else seemed significant. Like that time she brutalised that school teacher with his brass belt buckle in the stinking bathroom of an industrial estate burger joint. He still remembers giggling as he kept losing his balance on the slippery tiles, rank with grease. She left him, face down, burbling in the urinal, as they laughed and she forced the blue antiseptic cake up into his mouth, and it choked and choked and choked. He couldn't believe how easy it had become. In the lukewarm rusting hours before sunset, or beneath a crumbling concrete motorway underpass during rush hour, or in the lighting section of an inner city hardware store. Her viciousness was irresistible. Her ability to inflict pain was monolithic. He would be breathless observing the devastating acts that she could carry out without a second of hesitation. Violence flowed out of her, effortless, with an astounding, elegant grace, That's when he was most in awe of her, when she wiped the speckles of red off her brow and her playful, coquettish smile cut through him. And now, their atrocities had finally caught up with him. It was always destined to end with all of these hopeless blue flashing lights and stern, rage-emboldened faces, with all those polyester neckties just a bit too tight, and all those accumulated nights of disturbed sleep and caffeine-stained shirts. They eventually worked it all out, with the reams of paper all spread out in the walls. The news cameras are all here, demanding their demise. The wind is gently flowing through her hair. The dark strands are gently drifting and floating in the breeze. There's a sharp scent of salt and death in the air, and the sun is just setting over the surface of the water. Golden rays sparkle on the surface of her liquid eyes. But she doesn't look afraid, as she sees nothing but his pleading eyes craving her forgiveness. She looks at him, and she knows what's coming. They hold hands and gaze down into their inevitable oblivion. His knuckles are white. His mind is full of the horror that they have perpetrated, yet he feels no guilt. All those crunching cogs gone astray, littered with the carcasses of cockroaches with their insides scooped out. And just as they are stepping off the edge and into their interminable end, she turns to him, and a solitary silver tear slips down her face. And all of the agony and blasphemy of this uncaring world reflects on its surface. She softly whispers, "I'm having your baby." And at that moment, with those precious sacred words, all these desolate plans that he had for them evaporate. Together they will not accept acquiescence. They will not tolerate defeat. And he knows that from this point on, everything has changed. He can look through the horizon and there is only clarity. He cannot let these clawing animals bring them down. He will deny them their fetid feasting. There will be no public crucifixion. And now, they are stitched together for an eternity, and he smiles with all of certainty behind him. They will live on, everlasting into the sparkling unknown, as they become chaos as three.